We do have a Guardians topic, though. And I texted you yesterday, Books. I wanted to make sure there'd be a multitude of different answers for this question. We talked about after Jose's injury, how basically the Guardians just cannot withstand missing Jose for any significant period of time if they have playoff aspirations. So Jose disqualified from this discussion. Disqualified. He is the answer, the obvious answer, if he was available, so he's out. Mm-hmm. So without Jose being allowed outside of Jose, who is the Guardians' most irreplaceable player in 2026? You start us off, Bull.
Right now, I would say, there's a number of guys you can pick, but I'm actually going to go with Cade Smith. Yeah, a little surprised you there.
Yeah.
I like the Guardians' bullpen from top to bottom, but I have no faith that anybody else can close. It's different being a reliever and being a closer. Hunter Gaddis is banged up right now. I don't even know if we don't even know if he's going to start the season healthy and on the team. He might be on the injured list. And nobody else on this team has any closing history at all in the major leagues. So Cade Smith has been their best relief pitcher and maybe their best pitcher, period, for the last 2 years. Look at those numbers. 104 strikeouts in 73 innings is crazy. If the Guardians, especially early in the season, are going to be competitive, it's all about their pitching. Their lineup, we'll see. There's a lot of variance in what their lineup might be, but I would expect their lineup to be better in the second half of the year than in the first because guys will get their feet under them. Travis Bazzana will probably be up at some point. But early in the season, they're going to need their pitching to be great. And you got to have great pitching, you got to have a lockdown closer. And Cade Smith is that lockdown closer. If they lost him, it would be a disaster.
If you didn't hate Emmanuel Clase enough, Leo DeVries was phenomenal this year in spring training for Oakland, and that's probably who they would have gotten from San Diego. I don't know that 100%.
Yeah.
I think that Clase thing is going to haunt this franchise.
What a mess.
Years.
Right.
Lost for free.
Clearly, the answer would not be Cade Smith if Emmanuel Clase was still here.
Yeah.
He'd still be a big loss, but it wouldn't be as big.
Yeah.
Go ahead, G-Bush.
Listen, I was going to say, this is too easy. I was going to say Gavin Williams, but that's too master obvious. I'm going to go with Bybee. He was 12 and 11, right? And he took a step back. Now, before that, he had, in my opinion, pitched much more consistently than Gavin Williams up to last year. Now, Gavin Williams has more tools. He's a more physically imposing pitcher, like in terms of, if he was on the open market, Gavin Williams is the dude where you see the Padres or somebody give him a whole wad and a bag of money. But I'm going to go with Bybee because you don't got enough, like you said, if the Guardians want to be good, they got to have the pitching be excellent. And it has to be excellent in the bullpen and the starters. So I'm looking at Tanner Bybee. I'm going to go with him. And to be honest with you, if they really want to hit their ceiling, because again, the sticks are what they are. You can hope that Valera, I think he's hurt right now, right?
He is.
You can hope that DeLauder or Kafis or any of these dudes show up and do something. Bazzana is already going to be in the minors. But if you were to tell me the Guardians won the division and they got out of the wild card round, I would tell you it's because Gavin Williams and Tanner Bybee had great years, both of them. If the best way to tell me whether the Guardians are good or not is to see if both of those pitchers make the All-Star team. And if both of them made the All-Star team, I would probably tell you the Guardians have probably one of the best records in baseball.
Oh, yeah.
All right, two pitchers so far. You going pitcher or you going hitter?
No, I'm going hitter. This was actually kind of hard for me because I don't think that there is one, if we're being totally honest.
That's right.
You make a good case for Cade. But I ultimately went with Steven Kwan only because
he's a good choice.
He's the guy at the top of the lineup. But 3 months ago, I wasn't sure he was even going to be here now. I thought that they may have moved on. I know they came close to moving him at the deadline. I thought that they would move him during the offseason, so I'm a little surprised he's still here, which makes it hard for that to be the answer. I can't say Gavin Williams because he hasn't established himself yet as the horse that we think he can be, but he's not there yet. And if Bybee can sort of return to form, that takes some of the – so those two sort of count each other out as far as I'm concerned because they're sort of 1 and 1A right now. But Kwan being the table setter at the top of the lineup, a guy who obviously has great bat-to-ball skills, moving to center field now is crucial because if you lose him, you can put Angel Martinez in center and keep DeLauder in the corner.
I was thinking about that too.
But I would much rather have Steven Kwan at the top of the lineup than Angel Martinez. So I will go with Kwan, but I'm not convinced on it. I liked your Cade Smith answer, if I'm being totally honest. I was thinking more in the Kwan, Gavin Williams mold.
Yeah.
But just being a guy who gets on base, who is at least one table setter that they have in this lineup for guys like Jose. I think Manzardo's on the verge of a big year. I have high expectations for him this year. So he's another one that you could put in there, but he just hasn't done it yet at a high enough level, consistently enough. And you got to hope that I assume he's in the lineup every day, even against lefties.
Yeah.
But they just want to, but they're going to have injuries. Like, I don't know how you can count on DeLauder and Valera to be healthy for the entire year. They've never proven they can. And Valera's already hurt. He's already got the calf.
Right.
So this is going to be a thing where these guys are in and out of the lineup, I think, throughout the year. It's just, can you have them healthy in October if you get there?
What do they think about Kwan as around baseball circles in terms of like the scouts? Because I thought in my mind, seeing him when he was flirting with 400 and being a great outfielder, I thought, or left field, I thought that, they may have had him as a guy who is really like an elite hitter. But last year he took some steps back at the plate a little bit. Like in circles, is he, in terms of his value, do they see him as like a 4-tool player, or is he an elite defender or an elite base runner? Like, I'm trying to figure out what mold is he in order to.
I think he's a very good player. I think he gets overrated by fans here.
He's overrated by fans here, yes.
Yeah. He's a very good player, and moving to center is going to help him. It's going to help his value at least,
right,
and help his stock.
But he won't win a Gold Glove in center, probably.
I mean, I wouldn't say that definitively, but probably not. Like, if you're going to make me guess right now who's going to win a Gold Glove,
he's got much tougher competition. Yeah, but he'll be good in center field.
Yeah,
he's a very good hitter. You can't look at, in a way, you don't look like 281 is a career average. I at first I'm like, well, that's not that great.
But that's the new 300,
for
right?
modern baseball, a 281 carear average is very good. That's like hitting 300. But he's not. I mean, he ain't Tony Gwynn.
No.
Yeah. He's not George Brett.
No.
He's not that level of hitter. He has no power. He's a great base runner. He is a great base stealer.
He's got a great arm.
He's got a great arm. He is a great defensive player. He'll be a very good center fielder. So he brings a lot to the table.
He doesn't have one elite player.
But part of the reason he might not have been traded at this point is because teams are he's a weird guy to trade for because there's very few players like him in Major League Baseball. To me, the only comp for him in baseball is Nico Horner of the Cubs. They're very unique. You can mention Luis Arraez, but Arraez isn't even at that level because Arraez, unlike Nico and Kwan, who are elite defenders, Arraez stinks in the field.
Yeah.
And Arraez and Nico and Kwan are also elite base runners, where Arraez is not a great. Arraez is only a good. Now, he's a better pure singles hitter than even those guys. But I don't know what the trade would be.
I think there's a market for him at the deadline last year. I think the Guardians put such a high price on him.
Right. And nobody's going to overpay for a singles hitter.
Yeah.
They're just not going to do that.
They could trade him and get good players, or good value,
But you're not getting a team's best prospect for Steven Kwan.
No, I mean, the Padres chose Mason Miller and Leo DeVries. I mentioned earlier. He's 19, stud shortstop, would look phenomenal in a Guardians jersey next year. But the Clase thing killed that. But they were in on Kwan too, and they chose the closer over Kwan.
Right, which makes sense.
Yeah.
Kwan's a good ball player. I still don't understand why he and the Guardians can't figure out a contract, because if he were a free agent, he's not getting crazy money.
I think it's too late on that. I think that the Guardians tried.
What does he think he's going to get in free agents?
I don't know. More than they've offered.
What do you think he's going to get? Because I don't think he's getting even $20 million a year.
Well, what's really going to skew everything is this work stoppage. I have no idea what contracts are going to look like on the other side.
Yeah, it depends.
Now, I think he's a $18 million a year player
at best.
Yeah, I think he'd get 18.
I think he's 15, maybe 18. It depends, but
maybe he's betting on himself.
That's not undoable for the Guardians.
Maybe he's looking for 1 year of obscure power.
Yeah, I mean, listen, if you get 25 home runs this year, that would change it.
And then hopefully get hot, and you like, hey, look at my power numbers. If he's flirting with 20, he gets
he
squinted a
wins
little
a
bit.
Gold Glove in center and hits 25 home runs, we look at him differently. But I don't think
from that standpoint, let's just say he could hit. We'll split the difference. 23 home runs this year.
23 is splitting the difference.
That's 23 is hot.
25, so
Oh, okay.
split the
Even
difference in
20.
that.
Even
20
20
is
would
crazy.
be.
Yeah.
Even 20. Where could his average dip to from where it's been in the past, where you still think it's the same
Nah, I can't dip at
overall
all.
production?
274.
It can't dip at all.
He can't be at 274. 274 with 20 home runs and some stolen bases.
Yeah, no.
281 to 274 to me is not really a dip.
Yeah, I guess that's not really any.
Okay.
281 to 260 is a dip.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
255 is a dip.
It can't dip more than a few points.
So even the increase in power, you wouldn't want him
But
to.
it's just
in
not
his leadoff
realistic.
spot.
I don't think him hitting 23 home runs is realistic.
I mean, what did he have in 24? He had
Let me pull
that
it.
was
I
the year
pulled up
that
Leo DeVries.
and remember, he gets 1 million at bats and still doesn't hit a lot of home runs. Like, he gets more plate appearances than almost anybody.
That could skew. If I'm him, I'm going into the lab with a pen and pad. I'm like, listen.
14, Jason.
he had was that his career high?
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's 6'5", 14, 11.
And in the year he had 14, how many plate appearances did he have?
480 is the least amount of games he's
Oh,
played in
okay.
his career.
So that was
He had a hamstring. that
Yeah,
year.
he missed some time. that
Hey,
year.
if he can bulk up,
But that's
still,
when
I
he
don't-
started trying to just pull the ball more, put it in the air and pull it more.
right?
And he got 14.
I think he is who he is, and he should be who he is.
I agree.
And I think he's a valuable player. And this again, I think they should sign him, but
Hey, if he get,
they ain't listening to me.
if he's a left-handed hitter, if he can hit the ball in the air in right field and that little jet stream out there, he may get 6 more home runs. But I don't know if that's his approach and what he's looking to do. But look, I think the Guardians tried to sign him, and Jason might be right. They might have offered him over what his value was at this
And
point.
they offered the Jimenez deal. Like,
I can't speculate. I don't know.
yeah.
I
Who
would be
knows?
surprised if they went as high as they did on Jimenez because they tried to get off that deal almost as soon as they signed it.
well, because they realized that Jimenez wasn't the player they thought.
Yeah, and he was getting 23 million.
Kwan has way more of a consistent track record than Jimenez
He does.
did.
He does. But
He got
at the end
Yeah.
of the Jimenez deal, I think he was on the hook for 22, 23
Oh,
million a year.
okay.
I think.
Oh yeah,
That's-
I didn't realize it was that
that's
much.
spicy.
I think.
I don't remember, but anyway, yeah. When it comes, by the way, when it comes to what was the original question? Oh, we answered the question. One other thing with the Guardians, I think their roster is pretty much set. I was discussing this with Zach, and he and I agreed.
Is Stuart Fairchild going to make the roster?
Probably not.
Okay.
But I didn't realize Steven Fairchild. I didn't played with Stephen Vogt. They were teammates. I didn't remember
It's
that.
Stuart Fairchild.
Stuart Fairchild, yeah. So if Valera's healthy, I think Nolan Jones has got to be gone.
I'm with you. And I said before, I thought
Yeah.
Nolan, he's been so bad.
They
I don't
just
know how
can't
you,
do
I don't know
this
how you can
anymore.
roster him.
If Valera has to start the season on the IL, maybe they keep Jones.
I don't even know if you keep him then. I think
I wouldn't keep him either way.
I think you just-
and I liked him. I was always a fan, but it's clear that one good year was the anomaly.
wouldn't
and
you just play Kafis if Valera's hurt? Would you
well,
put Kafis in the outfield?
they still might. You could just do that. Or you could, keep a Stuart Fairchild or Petey Halpin
Wasn't he hitting in Colorado?
He had one good year in
in
Colorado.
good year in Colorado.
And I thought a couple weeks ago, I was trying to make the case
Yeah.
that because he's out of options, because he's a veteran, he doesn't have to play every day. He can play all 3 outfield spots. There's value in keeping him and letting Martinez start in the minors and playing every day. You want him getting every day at bats.
Yeah.
And I still think it's better if Angel Martinez isn't playing every day up here. I think it's more valuable for him in his development to be in Columbus.
Yeah, but if Valera's not healthy, Martinez might play a decent
He might,
amount.
and that's and maybe instead of Kafis, maybe Martinez.
And then you could keep and Fairchild is a good guy as like your last outfielder.
Yeah.
Because he could play all 3 possessions well defensively.
Nolan-
He's not really a major league player.
Nolan
in my
has been so bad. I
Yeah.
just think it's time to move on.
And let's face it, Austin Hedges shouldn't be on the roster. Now that David Fry can catch,
He's a vibes guy.
He's a coach.
I know Jay's obsessed with him. They should just pay him the same salary and let him be another assistant coach. I wouldn't really play him. I mean, I would platoon Fry and Bo Naylor at catcher.
Where's Steeman playing? Is he gonna be?
Seaman's going to be just a utility.
Open. He'll be on the roster. Open
Yeah,
day.
yeah. The bench is going to be Schneemann, Martinez, Hedges, and Fry. And that's if Valera's healthy. Now, if Valera's not healthy, Martinez and Schneemann will be the third outfielder in some combination. And then they'll have either Nolan Jones, Kafis, Halpin, or Fairchild as the last player. And then the rotation, probably Parker Messick's going to start in the minors. I asked Zach if he thought there was a chance that Messick and Cantillo could be in the rotation with Allen going to the minors, and he didn't think that was the case, even though I think they're both definitely better than Allen.
Yeah.
But probably Messick will start in the minors. And the only question in the pen is if Hunter Gaddis is ready to go. If he's not ready to go, then what's his name might make the team. Colin Holderman could make the team, who they got. Like
McNuggets boy Slade Ciccone.
Slade Ciccone's had a good spring training.
He's had very good spring training.
He's definitely on the roster.
Yeah.
But you got to take all spring training numbers with a grain of salt.
Shut your mouth.
But some of the movement and some of the movement on his pitches,
Yes,
some of his stuff,
but especially for hitters, because the ball flies in Arizona.
I just like you don't have to look at stats as much as spring training, but now you can see
velocity,
you can see
ball movement,
and vertical break on pitches and stuff like that.
They have all this crazy info.
Yeah, so you could see if guys' what their stuff looks like without worrying about.
What's the ceiling? What's the ceiling?
I said today with Zach, and he didn't disagree. I said, like, everything goes right,
they can
95 wins.
They can win the division.
Yeah.
As good as the Tigers are, this team could win the division.
Like, think about it. What if, this is a massive if between injuries and unprovenness.
Sure.
But a top six in your lineup, not in this order, but a top six of the lineup of Bazzana, DeLauder, Manzardo, Hoskins, Kwan, and Ramirez. If those guys all play at their best, that could be really good.
That's a major league lineup.
Yes.
Yeah.
Finally.
And then 7, 8, 9 don't even matter that much.
You're back to having people that you can kind of count on to at least give you
but there's
something.
a lot of big ifs in that group.
Yeah, Bazzana is the biggest if right now.
Yeah, I don't even know.
I don't know how you can put him in there. Frankly,
I've seen 5 at bats from him.
Well, I'm saying because I think he'll be up by May.
I hope.
You think?
Yes, I think so.
He has to force their hand. He
Right.
has to force
I think he
it.
will. And Rocchio and Arias are going to stink again, and he'll replace one of them.
Yeah.
And then, I could go even further and say, well, what if Bo Naylor finally reaches his potential
Yeah,
and
I'm off
Valera?
that.
Now we're at 8 decent players.
I really like Valera. Like, I'm really, really high on Valera.
Well, he at one point was an elite prospect. He's just been hurt so much.
It's the injuries with him. Him and DeLauder are the same. Like,
and then even in the bullpen, another guy is Espino, who could help at some point.
Yes.
Who also was a great prospect. He's had
is
injuries.
very exciting.
I think he could be, if he's their 8th inning guy at some point this season, it wouldn't shock me.
That wouldn't shock me either.
Yeah. You got to be very careful with him.
Yeah. But I mean, you bring him in.
Yeah.
Clean inning.
Yeah.
He pitches 1 inning, he sits down.
And doesn't pitch not going to pitch him back-to-back days. And
right. So I think
very
that there's
careful
a way. I mean,
him.
I don't think it's outrageous at all to think by June or July, he's one of their high leverage guys. I won't even say 8th inning. I'll just say he's one of their high leverage guys.
Right. On the other hand, Espino can get hurt again.
Yep.
DeLauder and Valera could still be hurt.
Will get hurt. It's just a matter of if it's a 2-week hamstring or
Bazzana could still be in the
3 months.
minors, and you could be the Guardians could win 95. They could win 75.
That's exactly.
I mean, that's as big a variety they have, and that's much more wild than a lot of other teams.
Yeah.
75. Ooh.
Like you ask me, the Royals, they're between 75 and 85. The Tigers are between 85 and 95. But the Guardians could have a much bigger variance.
Give me a squad that you come playoff time and you look around and you be like, how the heck did they make the playoffs? And you be like, no, they're actually really good. That people would never think about.
The Guardians.
Besides the Guardians?
The Guardians would be that team for me nationally.
I mean, there's 3 teams that you can say that about every year. The Guardians, the Brewers, and the Rays every year. And everybody's picking the Cubs, and everybody's writing off the Brewers. And I think that's stupid. The Cubs, on paper, are the favorites. There's no doubt. But the Brewers have had their number. So I'm not counting out the Brewers.
The Cubs could definitely win between 1 and 161 games this year, for sure. I put a lot of money that the variance is between 1 and 161. I
think Baltimore could be good. I think Baltimore.
Anybody could win the East.
I think Baltimore's a team nobody's talking about.
I actually think, even though I think the Guardians can win the division, I actually think the Tigers, if you ask me, who's most likely to win their division in the American League, I'd say the Tigers. Followed by the Mariners.
Got a little bit of breaking news for you guys.
Go ahead.
It's fun breaking news.
Okay.
But we all know that the people who watch this show are G. Bush fans.
Sure.
Sometimes they're Jason Lloyd haters. However, Jason, I think you have won your first ever poll in the history of UCSS.
Wow.
No, I won a poll once
Yeah,
before.
he did. He won.
His second poll in the history.
We had asked.
And he killed this on the trivia joint where he was the nameless players.
that was
players.
awesome.
Name that dude.
We gotta play that.
dude back.
He
gotta
ran
play
that.
that.
Oh, I'm like, dang, bro, he know all these.
That's
dudes.
a good
That's a
summer
great one.
activity.
We'll bring that back with Jason. We asked
Dustin
who's the
was
most
surprisingly
irreplaceable
good,
Guardians player not named Jose outside of the three options. Steven Kwan got 45% of the vote. So the fans, the chat, they're Lloyd lovers.
And